all I'm going to do today with you is take you through a wee bit of maths to help prepare you for going into first year. Now, I know a lot of you might be sitting in the house worried that you've missed out on quite a bit of school this year because of everything that's been going on and this, that and the other. And what I want to do is just to help to reassure you and put your mind at ease that you do not need to be going in or worrying about things you may or may not have missed because of everything that's happened. It's our job as teachers to teach you and get you caught up on anything that you're concerned about, so don't be worrying about that. All I'm going to take you through today, just to help sharpen up your basic math skills, is what we know as our four operations, and you'll be more than familiar with the type of equations that we're going to do here, because our four operations are quite simply add, subtract, multiply and divide, and that's all I really want to look at. And it's something that even starting into our new school, even starting in with year 8s, that I would always take them through just to keep them sharp on these skills. Okay, so we're going to look through each of them one at a time and how we do each type of question so we don't confuse ourselves. Okay, so we're going to start off with addition. So I'm going to look at a couple of addition questions here. You can see them in front of us. Two different questions involving adding numbers in the hundreds, and how we set the questions out and then how we work them out. Okay, so the first one is 342 plus 145, and you'll notice here I've set out H, T and U, which stands for hundreds, tens and units. And again, I'm sure a lot of you, in fact most of you will probably remember this from primary school, and we'll be sitting saying, oh, this is very easy, I already know how to do this. Well, it's just important that we stay sharp with these types of things, okay? Because our four operations is the foundation of maths, and almost every other topic that we look at will involve one of these four operations in some way, shape or form, okay? So H2 and U, hundreds, tens and units. And what we do is we set these two numbers out in columns beneath these letters. So 342 consists of 3 hundreds, 4 tens and 2 units. So 3, 4, 2. Just writing that beneath those letters, okay? And we're adding 145. So I write the operation that I'm doing, add. We all know that's the symbol for add. Plus 1, 4, 5. And those digits go in the corresponding columns also, okay? Now, when we add like this, we add the numbers from right to left, starting off with the units, then the tens, then the hundreds. And a question like this is very simple. The units, we have 2 plus 5, which is 7. The tens, we have 4 plus 4, which is 8. And the hundreds, we have 3 plus 1, which is 4. And we end up with 487. Okay? And if you're doing questions like this in the house for a bit of practice, you can simply use a calculator after you've tried it to check your answer. There's absolutely no harm in getting this sort of practice in the meantime, okay? Moving on, another similar type of adding question. It will be a slight bit trickier because we will have to carry, okay? But again, I'm going to take us through that very slowly, okay? So H, T and U, hundreds, tens, units. I'm doing the same thing again. So I've got 457, 4, 5, 7. Plus 3, 8, 6. And I'm setting my working out nice and neatly, okay? And when you go to school for maths, you will be given a square notebook, square on the page, and they'll actually help to make this type of work even easier by putting each number and digit in a corresponding square, okay? So starting off again with the units, I'm doing 7 plus 6, which is 13. Now, when the number that we get after adding is 10 or more, what we do is we write the unit down and we carry the 10 across to the left-hand column. So what I mean by that is 7 plus 6 is 13. So on the number 13, I have 1 10 and 3 units. So I write the 3 units down, I keep the unit, and I carry that 1 across to here. And I'm going to add this to what I get after I add 5 and 8. So essentially I'm adding 1, 5 and 8. 1 and 5 is 6, plus 8 is 14, okay? And I write same again, because it's a number of 10 or greater, I write the 4 units down and I carry the 1 across. and I do the exact same thing again. 1 plus 4 plus 3. 1 and 4 is 5, plus 3 is 8. 843. Okay, and just zoom in on that so you can see that that is a 3. Alright. Again, I will give you some questions just to practice, and again, I always recommend that add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Do this every now and again just to stay sharp on it so we don't confuse any of the 4 of our operations or how we do them. Okay. Moving on, we're going to add a couple of subtraction questions. Okay. So starting off quite similarly, I've got 457 take away 234. You'll notice I have HTU, hundreds, tens, and units set out again. So I set the question out in the same way. With subtraction, always make sure to put the larger number on the top, although that is generally good practice anyway with any of these types of questions. So 457, 4, 5, 7. Okay, numbers in the correct columns. Take away 234. Okay. Now, also, we are subtracting from right to left, so we're going to subtract the units, then the tens, and then the hundreds. So with the units, I'm doing 7, take away 4, which is 3. Okay? And then doing 5, take away 3, which is 2. And 4, take away 2, which is also 2. So my answer is 223. Okay? And that's as difficult as that type of question will get. Moving on to our second example. So again, starting off in the same sort of way. H2U, I'm setting out hundreds, tens, and units. When you get the hang of this, you won't need to write these letters, you'll get the gist of it. 5, 2, 3, take away 1, 7, 6. Now this is important here. So starting off in the right hand column with the units, 3 take away 6. We can't do 3 take away 6. If I had 3 apples and someone tried to take 6 away from me, well, I don't have 6 to give, okay? So in this case, what we do is 3 take away 6 we can't do, so we borrow from the left here. We borrow from the 2 on the top. So if we're borrowing 1 from here, this 2 becomes 1, and this 3 now becomes 13, okay? And then 13 take away 6 we can do, that is 7. Now, moving on to the tens, I'm left with 1 take away 7. Again, I can't do that, so I have to borrow from the left-hand column. So this 5 becomes a 4, and this 1 becomes 11. 11 take away 7 is 4. Okay? And the last thing is just to subtract the hundreds. 4 take away 1 we can do, which is just 3. 3, 4, 7. Okay? And again, just keep an eye out for that. If the number on the top, when we're subtracting, is smaller, we're going to have to borrow from the left. Okay? Moving on, I'm going to do a third example for subtracting, and it's just to keep an eye out for a question like this. Okay, so again, we've got 602, take away 354. HTU set out for us. So starting off, just putting the numbers in the correct column. 602 on the top. 354 on the bottom, and it's a subtraction sum, of course. Now, 2 take away 4, we know from the previous example we can't do because the number on the top is smaller. So I have to borrow from the left. The problem I have here is that the number on the left is 0. We can't borrow anything from 0 because 0 means nothing. So what we do in this instance is we go across now to the hundreds, and we borrow from the hundreds. So this 6 becomes a 5. Okay, now we can't just bring the one we borrowed here all the way over to the units. We have to bring it to the tens first. So this 0 now becomes a 10. Okay, now I can borrow from 10. 10 becomes 9, and this now becomes 12. So 12 take away 4 I can now do. Okay, 12 take away 4 is 8. 9 take away 5 is 4, and lastly 5 take away 3 is 2. Alright, so again, just going to put a wee star beside that, keep a wee eye out for this type of question if it ever comes up. where we have a 0 here that we cannot borrow from. If we need to borrow, just go to the next column. And if it's 2 zeros, go 2 columns across, but remember to bring it 1 column across at a time. Okay? Now moving on from subtraction, we're going to look at our next operation, which is multiplication. Okay? So it's always essential to be confident with your times tables, with your multiplying. If you're not, use a bit of time that you have over the summer left to get a wee bit of practice in. Again, it's something that I will work with any class that I have, and I know any maths teacher will always do a wee bit of practice with your times tables, but if you're confident with your times tables, these types of multiplication questions will become easier. So I'm only going to really look at the 2 and 3 times tables here when we're doing these longer multiplication questions. Okay, so I'm doing 324 times 2. Again, you'll notice I've set a H to U because the number 324 consists of hundreds, tens and units. So 300s, let's make that a wee bit bigger, 2 tens and 4 units, multiplied by just 2 units on the bottom. Okay, so again, working from right to left, 2 times 4 is 8, and we still just multiply each of these digits on the top by this 2 on the bottom. 2 times 2 in the middle is now 4, and then 2 times 3, which is 6, so 6, 4, 8. So we're multiplying each digit by this number on the bottom here. Okay, so each digit on the top is multiplied by the number on the bottom. Okay, and that type of question, no carrying involved, very straightforward. Okay, now again, slightly trickier example, hundreds, tens and units, starting off with again 435 times 3. Okay, so starting off with multiplying each of these digits on the top, the 4, 3 and the 5, by the 3 on the bottom, starting off on the right hand side, of course. 3 times 5 is 15. Now when that happens, when the number is 10 or more, what we do, quite similar to adding, is we write the units on the bottom. 3 5s is 15, write the 5 on the bottom, carry the 1. 3 3s are 9, plus 1 is 10. So I write the 0 here, and I carry that 1. Again, 3 4s are 12, plus 1 is 13. So I end up with 1305, 1305 for this particular question. What you can also sometimes get is when you're multiplying and say you were doing 3 times this was a 7 and it becomes 21, you would have to write the 1 down and carry 2 across. So we can sometimes be carrying more than 1 across, and all we do here is we add whatever we carry across. Okay, so that's multiplying. All right, and again, lots of practice will help you to improve not only your times tables but these types of questions. All right, last of our 4 operations I want to look at with you is division. Okay, so larger types of division questions where I'm doing a division sum like this, 264 divided by 2. Okay, so when we're dividing larger numbers, we will set the question out like this. So 2, what this means is 2 into 264, the larger number, the number that we're dividing, goes under the divisor here. So 2 into 2, first off, so how many times does 2 fit into 2? Well, 2 will fit into 2 once. We move on, so in this time we're going from left to right. This is where division is that wee bit different. We're now doing 2 into 6. Again, this is where being confident with your times tables helps you with also division, because 2 into 6, you can go 2, 4, 6 and count up like that, and 2, 4, 6, okay, that means it goes into it 3 times. But if you know your 2 times tables, you will know right away that 2 3s is 6, so therefore 2 goes into 6 3 times. Okay, and the last digit, 2 into 4, goes twice. So 2 into 264 gives me 132. Last of our 4 operations questions, I'm going to do this division. So dividing a slightly larger number using a slightly larger divider. So I'm doing 375 divided by 5. Just remember to set it out like this. So starting off, 5 into 3. So what happens here is the number's not going exactly in. So 5 into 3, well 5's too big, 5 doesn't fit into 3. So in that case what we do is we write a 0. Okay, some people will say you don't need to write a 0 at the start of the number when this happens, and they're absolutely correct, but for good practice, just to keep myself right, I always do it anyway. It doesn't really make a difference. So 5 into 3 doesn't go away, right? 0, and what's left over is 3, so you carry the remainder over. And now I have 37. So 5 into 37, again, it's where your confidence with your times tables will help out. 5 into 37 doesn't go in exactly, but it will go into it a certain number of times. You can count up with your fingers again, okay? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 goes into it 7 times. But again, when you're confident with your times tables, you will know right away that 5 sevens is 35. So therefore it goes into it 7 times with 2 left over, because remember we're actually dividing 37 and we carry that 2 over. And this digit now becomes 25. So we're doing 5 into 25. And 5 into 25, again, if you're confident with your times tables, 5 into 25 goes exactly 5 times. If you're not, count your fingers. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There you go. Okay? So 5 into 375 gives me 75. Okay? So that is a quick run through of our 4 operations. I will post some questions for you to try on your own, and that you can check with a calculator. But if there's anything you're unsure about, you can post in the comments and ask me some questions.